Hey, it's Brad Staggs here in the Tool School workshop today, talking oscillating tools, in particular the Bosch MX30E, and actually in kit form today it's the Bosch MX30EK-33 multi-X tool. And we'll show you what the company says first, and I'll tell you about how this came in super handy on a job site. So last week I was working with our resident remodeling contractor, Dana Wilkerson, on a job that was initially just supposed to be replacing some trim boards on a raised deck and kind of a garage cover. Well, once we dug into the project, we realized that whoever had built it initially had not quite done it right. They used LVL beams in a situation where they shouldn't. So this thing turned into not only replacing trim, but disassembling columns, replacing an entire beam with pressure treated lumber. And let me tell you, the words that came out of his mouth at the end of the job were, "You sold me on this." And here's the reason. You don't realize how valuable tools like this are until you have one on a job site and you see how many different things it can do. Starting at the beginning with the scraper attachment, the first thing we had to do, we had to disassemble the columns, and that we wanted to save the trim and as much of the lumber as we could so that we could keep the cost down for the owner. The scraper blade cut right through all the caulk joints, so that was the first thing that just was, it saved so much time, it wasn't even funny, and it saved the trim as well. The second thing that we used was the flush cut blade for wood. What we used this for in a little different application was cutting the glue joints. Someone had glued together all of the 1x12 cedar that was used to make these columns. So again, if we hadn't had this tool, we would have spent a lot more time and or money either having to disassemble these columns or just simply break them apart because they were glued, and they were glued quite well. We also used the same blade to take off the small pieces of trim around the perimeter of the columns. And it was great for removing and cutting through the miter joints on the crown molding at the top as well. So again, it really served its purpose. We also used the Plunge Cut feature to plunge cut into the existing trim so we could make a nice butt joint for the new trim. And the Plunge Cut blade was actually about 3 times faster than the circular saw for cutting some notches in the trim to fit it around the post. We also used the sanding attachment on this to sand some primed pieces when we were reassembling the entire project. The bottom line, well, it worked fabulous, by the way. The one feature I like probably above all on this is the accessory change method. It's a simple lever. There are no pins, no Allen wrenches, nothing. Toolless accessory change, which again, if you're at the top of a ladder trying to change an accessory on this, you don't want to be dropping a piece or a part. If you're going to be using this thing all day, a cordless tool would not have gotten us what we needed, especially cutting down those columns. So I think cordless tools have their place, and I have a couple, I use them all the time. But if you are trying to decide between corded and cordless, and you know that you are going to be using this on a regular basis, you want to go with a corded, especially if you got heavy-duty jobs. But again, it stands up to Bosch quality. It comes with a case, the 33 accessories, including the blades and all the sanding pads. About the only thing this didn't help us do was jack the deck up. If they could figure out how to incorporate a jack into this, I tell you, it would be the best tool in the world. But as it stands, it's still pretty doggone good, and it's still worth every penny. It's going to help you out on your next job. You won't know until you try. I'm saying, give it a try, you'll like it.